Salut, Pascal Moscato here. Welcome back into another video tutorial for MotionBuilder. In today's video, we have something a little special. I'm gonna be creating a catapult inside MotionBuilder with the physics solver and rigid body. And the goal is just to show you quickly how to create and start to mix the stuff we've learned together and create more interesting stuff. So without any further ado, let's jump into it. So before we start, let's have a look at the scene I have created. So in this scene, I have put a few cubes that will be only objects to collide with. I have created this magnificent catapult. It's made of 2 cubes and a torus. So the torus is parented to this cube and to this cube. So this will be the object I'll be using to create the catapult effect, and I have created a sphere. Now let's start to bring the physicality into this. I'll start by making those cubes physical. So under the physical properties in asset browser, I want to take rigid body and I'll be dropping it on all of the cubes at the same time. So I have selected all the cubes. I'm gonna click on rigid body and drop it. So now they share all of the same properties for the rigid body. I'm gonna rename it to cubes. And to test this, I'm gonna go into solver and then bring a physics solver in the scene. So now what's gonna happen, because the objects are too close to each other, it's gonna explode. To fix that, we need to go back into physical properties for the cubes, and under the approximation setup tab, you want to look at approximation, and instead of auto, we will be selecting cube. Now you see there is red cubes all over the place. This is a more accurate version of a collision box. So now if we go back into physics solver and do it again, they have settled super well. Let's now create the rigid body for the torus. Rigid body, drop it on torus. I will leave it like this because there is no primitive that allows me to create a torus. And finally, I'll do the same with the sphere. Let me rename this to torus. And here, sphere. I can change approximation to sphere for the sphere. And because it's a little bit bigger than the original sphere, I can scale it down a little bit. Like this. So now let's test this. Okay, 2 things. The first thing is the torus is not active, it's gonna be passive. And the second thing is, for some reason, the sphere doesn't behave super well when the approximation is set to sphere. So I'll set it back to auto and do it again. Because it's set to auto now, it's gonna be creating a bounding box that will be used to approximate the geometry. So just say, okay, I'm fine with it, and go live. So now it works. Good. Now to continue, we will need a relation constraint. So in asset browser under constraint, relation constraint into the scene. I'll be importing my root for my catapult inside as a receiver because I want to affect the rotation of this, and I will also import it as a sender because I'm gonna be bringing custom properties. So let's create those properties. With the object selected, go in properties, editor, and under the custom properties tab, I'll be adding an action. Well, I'm gonna be adding 2 of them. The first one will be named shoot, and the other one would be named reload. don't forget to click on the little A button so that they appear in the relation constraint. Okay, now what I want to do is create a condition. If the button is pressed, do this. If not, do that. So I'm gonna go into number and I'm gonna select the if condition, then A, else B. So if shoot, the button shoot is pressed, I want the rotation value, the Z rotation, to be -90. If not, it's gonna be 0. And I'm gonna bring that into rotation. Number to vector, I will change the X number to the Z number. All right. So if shoot is pressed, -90, otherwise 0 to the Z number. Put it that back. Let's see. Good. Now to make it look better, I'm gonna be bringing a damper. If you don't know how to create a damping, we will see it right here, or you can go see this video for more information. Do that, I'm gonna go into rotation and select damp rotation node, bring it inside the scene, and I'm gonna add it at the end right here. So the vector will be going to the input vector and out into the object. Now I'll set my custom numbers to be something like 250, 1500, 2000. So now if I shoot, not bad. Let's increase the acceleration and the speed. Yeah, I'm good with that. Okay. So now let's have a look. Okay, the last thing I want to do is create the reload button. So I'm going to go back into my relation constraint. I will be adding the sphere as a receiver. And I also want to add the sphere physic object. And in the sphere physic object, I'm going to activate the little A button for the activation so that I have access to it. As a receiver, very important. And then I want to create a condition for that. I'm going to be using exactly the same condition here. So under number, if condition, then A else B for reload, connect that. If I press reload, I want the activation to be passive, which is 0, 1, 2, number 2. And else I want it to be 0. And I want also, if the button is pressed, I want to change the translation for the sphere. So I'm gonna go into vector, and again I'm gonna take if condition. If the button reload is pressed, I want the translation to be the one of the torus, so I'm gonna add the torus as a sender, like this. And if not, it's gonna be the sphere translation. So I'm adding to the sphere as a sender, and I'm gonna be adding the result to translation. So let's see what happens if I hit reload. It's not there. Okay, let's see that in action. So I'm shooting. It reload. There we go. Okay, now ideally it would be to create an offset for the sphere to work. I'm gonna do that very quickly. So in the relation constraint, I am simply gonna go into vector and add a vector. So when I use the torus translation. I am also gonna be adding let's see, 40 units up, and removing this and adding it right here. So now if I press reload, it goes just a little above. Let's see that in action. Shoot. Reload. Good. So there you have it. I hope you've had a little fun with it and learned something. If you like this content, please leave a thumbs up and consider sharing with a friend. And as always, I will see you in the next one. À la prochaine!